Hey guys, what's up? Okay, so this is a follow-up to my testimony video, which I will link in the description, and then I'll try to tag it up here, try to figure that out. Excuse me. So I just wanted to go more in depth. Like, even after I shot it, I was like, I have to go more in depth, talking specifically about homosexuality. So, this is what I'm doing today. Okay, so I first felt like there was something off, or felt like that, like this, obviously, homosexuality. I felt that probably had to be like 5, 6, 7, around that age, because it was summer, and me and my brother, we were staying at, we were out of town. We were staying with my paternal grandmother, and she had enrolled us into the summer program. So we went to the, one of the things we did, we went to the pool, obviously, because it's summer. And I remember being in the locker room and, seeing a guy's business and being captivated by it. Like, also part of me was like, that's but because that's definitely how I would think. But I remember being captivated by it. I remember feeling there's something in me that was like, something's off. So then as I got older, I remember, obviously, started looking at pornography, and then when I was, I want to say 14, I started looking at gay pornography, and like I was pretty much looking at that like every chance that I got, really. Yeah. And then I learned about masturbation, and so that just kind of just went on until the end of high school. And then after high school, I think it was towards the end of 2007, that's when I began to actually pursue homosexuality. And I was hanging out with someone at the time. It was never official. It wasn't official. Looking back, glad nothing like official happened with that, and a lot of people around us were looking at me and saying, "I'm glad nothing official happened." Yeah, nothing gets him. I'm sure he's probably fine now, but yeah. Anyway, that's not important. But yeah, that was 2008. And then it was 2008 when I actually started becoming sexually active. And then towards the end of 2008, I think it was a week before Thanksgiving in 2008, is when I actually started having sex. And spent like the entire year just being promiscuous, sleeping around, being reckless, just hooking up with random strangers off of the internet. And then in my other testimony here, like at the end of 2009, I told myself I couldn't do this anymore, and I enrolled myself in school. I was still hooking up, like, but it was definitely more sporadic. But in my testimony I shared, I went back to school in January, and I auditioned for another school, and then ended up moving to another town. In March, April, I was accepted. May, I lost my job. June, car I had broke down. And in July, I started going to church again. And then at the end of December 2010, December 15th, 2010, I got saved, which December 15th is coming up. That is actually next Sunday. So today's December 8th. So next Sunday, December 15th, 2019, I'll be 9 years old, in the spirit. So, yay! So, so after ended up getting saved, and then 3 days later, I actually went to S4. If you don't know, that is a gay club here in the Dallas area. And I ended up running into someone who I had met a year prior, who I really, really, really liked. Like, I think at that time I was like, this is it. Like, this is who I'm supposed to be with forever. And like, obviously, that's not the case. Oh, that's not the case. That was definitely not the case. Uh, but I remember like interacting with him, and I remember there was something in me that was off. Like, me interacting with him, like, it was like my flesh wanted to go another way, but my spirit, which was now alive, was like, let's not go that way. And I felt that conflict like within me. I was like, something's not right. And I think I still kind of pursued it. I mean, I had just gotten saved. I think it had to be, when was it? I know it was after. I'm trying to remember exactly when it was, because obviously, like, the first few months, like, I was still kind of, you know, I was still like talking to people I shouldn't be talking to. I wasn't doing anything or trying to pursue that. Um, pursue to actually physically do anything. But I was still like talking to guys. Um, and I was still, I think, was I still looking at pornography? I think I was. Here and there, but like it was, again, it was very sporadic, and again, I was just being refined, but I was spending a lot of time with the Lord. I think also around that time, I'm sorry, I'm really trying to remember. I want to make sure I get everything correct. Um, yeah, around that time, I think we went through like a couple weeks where, like, I was deceived, thinking like I can be gay and be a Christian at the same time, and da 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 da, and I found like this website, and the first thing that I read was in the church I was at. Like, that was one of the one of the things that they said in church was, it's not by accident that you're here, and that was the first thing that I saw on that website. It's like, it's not by accident that you're here. And yeah, I was definitely deceived. Like, it was taking that website was taking scripture and twisting and manipulating it into something that it wasn't, and saying that there were people who are recorded in the Bible who were actually gay, and it was adding weird context to things that it just wasn't correct. And so I went through, I think it had to be like a week, like not even 2 weeks. And I was deceived, thinking, oh, I can be both. I can be both gay and a Christian. I can da 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 da. And no, it was like, the Lord grabbed me and was like, no, this is not correct. And then I remember I'd opened up to my pastor at the time about that, and I told him about that specifically, and I also had opened up to someone else who I was close to about that, because when I first got saved, I didn't share with anyone about that, because obviously I know how the church feels about all of that. And as soon as I shared with the person, not the pastor, the person, everything changed, and people started treating me differently, and I knew why. But at the same time, it was like, why should things change because of something that's no longer a part of me? The word says that I'm a new creation. The old is gone, the new has come. And I'm out here legitimately choosing to say yes to Jesus. I'm following him. Now, if there's something that I'm doing on the back end that I'm not supposed to be doing, then that's one thing, but I wasn't. And even especially like after the summer 2011, um, pretty much I was just spending time with the Lord, and I was growing closer to Him, and I was every day, like I was in the Word, every day I was spending time with Him, and it kind of became a little legalistic, but in that time I definitely grew a lot, and I just grew closer to the Lord, and you know, I want to say my life did exhibit that. Now, obviously, I think looking back, there were still some things in me that needed to be taken care of, but like I still chose Jesus. I wasn't living that life. So, yeah. No. I'm really trying to remember everything because it's been a very long time. So yeah, around 2012, in 2012, that's when I started like really going through like inner healing and deliverance. I remember in 2012 I did go through an inner healing ministry, and I dealt with some stuff, but there's still some stuff. But even then, like I was still seeking the Lord. And then 2013 came, and I was just hanging out with a couple of friends, and they're really prophetic, and one of them was saying that they believe that the Lord wanted me to leave the church that I was currently with at the time, and I remember leaving there, and then when I got home, I actually ended up masturbating, and in that, like looking back, I I felt I was angry. I was like I was angry with the Lord. I was very just disappointed, and I felt like out of control. I felt abandoned, and because there were a lot of things like the Lord was speaking to me about that church specifically, and certain things that He wanted me to do, that He had spoken to me about, that He made promises to me about, that honestly I know that's still going to come to pass. But at that time, I was like, well, why would you have me leave? And so I ended up going back to that. And so even looking back, I'm like, it was good that I needed to leave because, and I wasn't happy there. I wasn't happy. I felt just really alone. And there were many times where I would like leave church, or I would leave, like youth group or young adults group, and I remember one time in particular, I was just crying as I was driving home because I just felt so alone and not wanted there. So yeah, I mean it was good, but also I just needed to grow in general, and I know that what I carried needed to be in other places. So yeah, and so in 2013, I think that's when I started dabbling back into that stuff a little bit, and I wasn't really spending as much time with the Lord like I needed to, like I knew I should have been. Like I was still, but it wasn't as consistent and as fervent as it was before and as it needed to be. And I ended up going back to old sin habits, and trying to connect people and hook up with people and stuff like that. And then in 2013 is when I went to California, and I was supposed to be there for a week, but I allowed my own doubt and doubt of other people who knew I was going to get to me. Because at that time, that was the first time I ever had traveled by faith. Like, I didn't, first time I left, like, anywhere on my own, and I was going halfway across the country. And literally I had no money. But the Lord told me to go, so I went. And it was the first time I ever did anything by faith, and I really didn't have anyone to really stand with me in that. But I knew I was supposed to go at that time. But I had like one person who actually stood with me, who actually ended up buying my train ticket. Not my train, my bus ticket. Bus. I went on a bus. And, you know, he didn't shame me after I came back. Like, I was supposed to stay there a week, but I ended up coming back early. But at that time, I was just really disappointed in myself. And then that's when I really started to go back into old sin habits, because I was disappointed in myself, felt like I had let the Lord down, let myself down, and I felt like I was just failing. And so yeah, in 2014, that's when it got really, really bad in terms of just like going back and trying to hook up people and masturbation and pornography and all that stuff. 2013, I did hook up with someone in 2013. 2014, I think I did. Maybe? I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, I was carrying like all that stuff, and I wasn't really dealing with it because I didn't know how to deal with it. And the whole time, the Lord was telling me rest. But I was like, So, 2014. Yeah, and then in 2014, I went back to California again. I was still kind of dabbling in that while I was in California. I came back 2015. 2015 is when I actually started really being sexually active again. And that's when I started having sex again in 2015. And yeah, like again, like I was carrying all that stuff, like disappointment. I think 2015, I believe that's when I started getting depressed. Like I started falling into a depression in 2015. Yeah, because I remember I left a job. I thought the Lord was telling me to leave it, and in mind, and I just had that same thought that I had from in 2013 when I went to California the first time. I'm supposed to be in California. I need to go to California. I'm supposed to go to California, and I can't. And like I'm in this place in my mind trying to make up for lost time or trying to fix something because I felt like such a failure. And then I'm upset with myself. I'm angry with myself. I'm angry with the Lord, and feel like I'm being abandoned. So I'm carrying like all this stuff, and I think 2016 is when I actually really started to actually deal with that stuff. Like really started to really deal with that stuff because I started going to the church that I'm connected with now. I started going there, and then I really started to deal with that. But it wasn't really until last year that I really started to be more intentional about just really sitting with the Lord and coming into a place of rest and just allowing Him to bring up all those impurities to the top, all those things that I was believing in, that all those lies that were keeping me in sin, that were keeping me, in bondage, that were keeping me to pursue homosexuality. Because to be honest, I'm not really into it. I don't really like it. But I was still pursuing it, and it wasn't because of that. It was really more so about intimacy, and it was because I felt abandoned by everyone, really. And, it really had more so to do with that than anything, because I spent a lot of time by myself. And, with me, like, I'm really, like, about just, like, reaching out to people and just checking in on them, seeing how they're doing, this and that, whatever. And, and just seeing if someone does want to hang out or someone wants to spend time. And I understand people are busy. I understand that we all have lives. I have a life too. Like, especially when, obviously, you're an adult, you have things to do. But my thing is, like, if you really want to spend time with someone, if you really want to cultivate a relationship, you would spend time with them. Like, you just make that a priority. And there were a lot of people around me who just didn't want to make me a priority. I think obviously, as I've gotten older, I was like, I don't have time for your high school games. Like, we've been out of high school. I didn't have this much drama when I was in high school. I don't want this now. So, but going back, like, that's how I felt. I felt abandoned. I felt like alone. I felt like no one was here with me. And reaching out to those guys, even though I'm definitely wasn't supposed to be talking to them. Just the fact that they were responding to me, or like that said to me, oh, you actually want to talk to me, you want to spend time, you want to actually make an intentional choice to connect with me, even though it's completely unhealthy and and it's 100% sin. And not only am I sinning against myself, but I'm sinning against the Lord, and I'm sinning against them. And I'm also partnering with witchcraft, which if you actually boil it down, it's really nothing more than divination, manipulation, and control. I'm using, sexuality and sensuality to manipulate and control situations so it can work in my favor and I can get what I want. So, in essence, that's witchcraft. But anyway, that's basically what I was doing, and it went on probably up until, like, even, like, this past weekend, really. Because I'm still kind of in that season where I just need to just be intentional about sitting with the Lord and understanding why I am making the choices that I'm making, because it's about more than just what is on, but it has to do with me, dealing with depression, dealing with anger, dealing with abandonment, dealing with feeling like I'm out of control, like I can't control anything. Like, literally, there'd be times where I'm just sitting there and I'm just, like, feeling like I'm supposed to be doing something, or I'm supposed to be somewhere else, and just being frustrated and feeling like I can't do the things I want to do. I can't do the things I feel like I should be doing. And I feel like I'm letting people down, letting myself down, letting the Lord down. And then, I can get on this hookup app, or I can talk to this person. At least there, I feel like I have some type of control. And even though I don't like it, it's something, because I'd rather feel something, feel nothing, or be in this place of just nothing, which is completely unhealthy, and it's not for me, it's not for those other men, it's not for Jesus, it's just, ugh, it's gross. So, but I feel like that was something I needed to share, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who go through that, who have, especially people who have come out of homosexuality, and they find themselves going back, and they're trying to figure out, like, why am I going back? I am not enjoying this. I'm not enjoying this at all. Why am I going back? And I'm not saying that everyone's journey is exactly the same, but this is just my journey, particularly my journey and what I've gone through. And hopefully this will help someone else who realize, okay, that's similar to what I could be going through, or that sounds. So I knew the Lord wanted me to share that, because with any type of addiction or sin or whatever it is, sin cycle, what have you, it's deeper than what's manifesting. And it all goes back to feeling some type of lack, lack of control, lack of peace, feeling like I've disappointed people, I've let people down, I let the Lord down, let myself down, having a lot of guilt and shame and condemnation toward myself, and feeling like I've been abandoned by a lot of people, which I have, whether it was intentional or unintentional, I have, but the Lord still stayed, and He's still been faithful, even though I've been unfaithful. I've been the prostitute from Hosea, so, but He still chose me, and yeah, so, I just want to share this, and I don't know what else to say, but, yeah, I'll share just my social media handles below, and if you want to find me there, that L_K Ministries, that's with Twitter, and Aiden X Jeffrey, that's with Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, thank you for watching. God bless, and stay rooted. Bye, guys.